Not just early, prompt. On time, punctual. I come by it honestly. My father's like that too, and I've always really wanted to please my father. So on the morning of December 8th, 2009, when my water broke, I was both dismayed and shocked because I was a full 3.5 days early. That is 84 hours early. I'd never been 84 hours early, ever. So the morning started. I was talking to my sister on the phone. She was telling me about her upcoming wedding and some funny story about her future mother-in-law. And I love mother-in-law stories. And she made me laugh. And all of a sudden, I felt this warmth between my legs. And that wasn't a totally unusual occurrence at that late stage of my pregnancy, but there was a lot of volume, and so I thought maybe this is it. So I ran to my husband, who is a physician, albeit a psychiatrist, and I said, "Can you help me? I think my water broke." And he said that he knew how to tell the difference between these two bodily fluids, and that if I showed him a sampling of said fluid, that he could tell me what it was. And so, so when I came back to him with a salad bowl filled with said fluid, he officially diagnosed my membranes ruptured. So then I did what I think any prompt person would do, which is get dressed quickly and go to work so that I'm not late for work. So I run up to my 3rd floor desk and I hope that I don't leave a trail behind. And I try to impart my wisdom onto Sonia, who is my replacement at work. And she now has to learn in like a few hours what I was planning on teaching her in 3 days. I wanted to give myself half a day off. So I needed to teach her everything in 3 days. So we only had a few hours. She was also my official contractions timekeeper. And when they were officially closer than 5 minutes apart and lasted longer than a minute, she said, "You have to get out of here." And so I said my goodbyes and I left. Now the plan was that that I would just take a cab to Mount Sinai Hospital. That was fine. I was hardcore. I was going into work in active labor. I could take a cab. So I'm walking to the corner of Queen and Spadina. Cam H is at the corner of College and Spadina. Anyway, so that's where my husband works. So anyway, I'm walking to the corner of Queen and Spadina, and all of a sudden I get the most excruciating pain. And I still get goosebumps just thinking about that pain. And I latch on to this light post that is like almost at the corner. And I think like, this is it. Like, I am gonna give birth to my baby right here, across from my favorite bakery, Le Gourmand, where they make really good chocolate chip cookies, but probably don't have like an in-house OBGYN. So once I take a breath, I see this man approaching me. And he looks a little bit like my dad, which is comforting. And I say to him, "Sir, can you help me catch a cab?" And he just looks at me and he says, "Get your own damn cab. I'm going to catch this streetcar." And then I just start to cry. And I'm crying, I'm bawling. And I'm crying because I think I'm going to give birth almost at the corner of Queen and Spadina. And I'm also crying because I don't know when the next contraction is going to come, and I don't know if it's going to, hurt more than my previous contraction. And I'm also crying because my father just rejected me again. And I'm just crying. And then this woman comes up to me. And she holds on to me, and she says, "Are you okay?" And I say, "I need a taxi. I need to go to Mount Sinai Hospital." And she's holding on to me, and she says, "My name is Chloe. I'm going to help you. You're going to be okay." And I believe her. And then she walks to the corner of Queen and Spadina, and she can't see a cab. And then, in amazing Bronze Cross perfection, she yells to some dude across the street, and she says, "Hey, you! With the green sweater and the red knapsack and the hipster glasses, yes, you!" And he kind of looks around, and she nods, and she says, "Help me catch a cab. This woman is in labor. This is an emergency." And the gentleman nods. And then she does it again. She does it 3 times. And there are 4 people at this busy, for those of you who aren't from here, the corner of Queen and Spadina is a busy corner. It's a busy intersection. So they're all trying to catch a cab, and they're all wearing these distinguishable clothes that have a really friendly face. And so obviously a cab stops. And I am in a cab within a few seconds. And a cab driver is riding, and then I get another contraction, and it's just horrible. And I start yelling, and the cab driver yells louder. And he is like, "Ma'am, get out of my cab. I am calling an ambulance because I don't want you to get your dirty baby juices all over my taxi." That is a quote. Dirty baby juices. Anyway, even the people at Le Gourmand know that you can't say that. So anyway, I say to him, in a tone that is only accessible by women in active labor, to get me the hell to Mount Sinai Hospital immediately, because I need to deliver my baby and he is taking me there. So we get to Mount Sinai Hospital. I make it up the elevators. I'm in the unit. And then I have another contraction, and I'm screaming, and I am cursing. I am using every profanity I know. And the nurse comes up to me, and she holds my head, and she says, "Listen, girlfriend, I will get you an anesthesiologist to administer an epidural if you just shut up for a few minutes." And so I did my best, but I think I scared the entire hospital. And I guess a few minutes later, my husband Mark and the anesthesiologist both come in at the same time. And the reason for my husband's tardiness was because he had to stop at home to drop off the car so that he won't have to park the car at the Mount Sinai Hospital parking lot because it's $20 an hour, and that comes right out of my daughter's RESP. So another show, maybe called Cheap Husbands. So the anesthesiologist is washing his hands, and he opens up the sterile kit, and then he sneezes. And Mark says, "Hey buddy, you should wash your hands and get a new kit." And the anesthesiologist says, "Who are you?" And my husband says, "I am a staff physician at Mount Sinai Hospital." And the anesthesiologist says, "What department?" And my husband says, "Psychiatry. Now go wash your hands and get a new kit." And a lot of yelling ensued. Mostly the anesthesiologist and me telling Mark to shut up. But Mark wouldn't budge, and a few contractions later, and an anesthesiologist with a very bruised ego later, I got my sterile dose of narcotics in my spine, and that was probably for the best, so thank you, Mark. At 4:43 that day, my daughter was born. And she is a really happy and helpful and healthy 4-year-old. She can even tell time, which makes her punctual, just like Mama. But I never found Chloe from the corner of Queen and Spadina. And both my daughter, Chloe, and I, we want to say thank you. So, now that I have a stage, and like half of you don't know me, the other half do, I guess I'm reaching out to you. If you know a really nice Chloe who probably has her bronze cross, please give her kisses from Gaby and from little Chloe. Have a good night.